Okay, so Bitcoin, uh, everyone's favorite topic,
Right.
but we're going to kind of look at it from a different angle today.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Bitcoin staking in DeFi,
Okay.
decentralized finance, and a protocol called Babylon that
Yeah.
has been making a lot of noise recently. And the reason why it's been making so much noise is because it has attracted billions of dollars in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Um, we are basing our deep dive today on an article called How Babylon Revolutionized Bitcoin Staking, 3.5 USD billion staked and counting.
Wow. Yeah.
So you ready to kind of unpack this and break it down a little bit?
Absolutely. And I think that this article really kind of highlights a shift that we're seeing in how people are viewing Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because, for a very long time, it was pretty much just considered like digital gold,
Mm-hmm.
like a store of value.
Right.
But now with Babylon and the advent of staking, it's kind of turning into more of a yield generating asset in the DeFi world.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
The article mentions that Babylon allows for what they call trustless Bitcoin staking.
Right.
So for some of our listeners out there who maybe need like a little bit of a DeFi refresher, can you kind of just quickly run through what that means and why it's such a big deal?
Yeah. So, DeFi or decentralized finance is basically aiming to kind of rebuild traditional financial services
Okay.
like, lending and borrowing, earning interest, all that stuff,
Hmm.
but without the need for like banks or any other middlemen or, third-party intermediaries.
Right.
So it's all about like cutting out the middleman and giving you control
Right.
as a user over your assets.
Yeah.
So now trustless Bitcoin staking with Babylon means that users can earn rewards on their Bitcoin
Okay.
without actually having to, hand it over to like a third party,
Gotcha.
like an exchange or lending platform.
Yeah.
And this is huge because it removes this thing called counterparty risk
Yeah.
that comes with traditional Bitcoin DeFi methods,
That's-
where you're basically trusting somebody else with your coins.
So, so with Babylon, I could earn rewards on my Bitcoin without the risk of like, let's say, a platform getting hacked or running off with my funds.
Yeah, exactly. And the article kind of makes a point about how this aligns perfectly with the core principles of DeFi.
Okay.
Things like transparency, security, and, user control.
Right.
Because the whole point is you're retaining full control over your Bitcoin the whole time.
Okay.
It never leaves your possession.
Gotcha. So it's not like I'm giving it over to some platform and, it's in their wallet
Yeah,
and they're doing whatever they want with it.
exactly.
So I'm still curious, though, about how does Babylon solve this problem of trust in Bitcoin DeFi? The article mentioned something about like a new blockchain.
Right. So Babylon is actually building its own blockchain.
Okay.
And this blockchain is going to be using this thing called proof of stake or POS.
Okay.
And unlike, Bitcoin's traditional proof of work system,
Mm-hmm.
where miners use like a ton of energy to validate transactions.
Right.
In this POS system, users stake their coins to become validators and secure the network.
Okay.
And this eliminates the need for all that energy-intensive mining. And it allows for faster and more efficient transaction processing.
Okay.
So by staking Bitcoin with Babylon, you're essentially helping to secure their new POS blockchain
Gotcha.
and earning rewards in the form of their native token in return.
So these native tokens, I assume that means that these are tokens that are specific to the Babylon platform.
Yes, because
And it's like earning interest, but instead of getting dollars,
yeah.
you're getting basically a piece of the Babylon ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. And the article talks about how excited people are about this.
Okay.
$100 million staked in the first hour.
Wow.
$2.3 billion staked in the next 90 minutes.
That's insane. I mean, that's a pretty strong sign that people are excited about what's going on with Babylon.
Yeah, and some users staked up to 500 Bitcoin in a single transaction.
Wow.
Like, that's a serious commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's amazing. It's still early days, though.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you think that they might face moving forward?
Well, just like any DeFi project out there, Babylon isn't immune to risk.
Right.
The article does mention potential vulnerabilities, things like hacks and exploits
Right.
that have impacted other protocols
Right, in the past.
in the past.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Babylon is actively acknowledging these risks and kind of learning from what's happened in the past,
Okay.
to me is a good sign that they're prioritizing security and resilience.
Yeah, that's reassuring. So, big picture, what does all this mean for the future of Bitcoin? I mean, could it actually become a dominant player in the DeFi space?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a possibility, right?
Right.
I think what's so cool about Babylon is that it's not just offering, a new way to earn rewards on your Bitcoin. It's
Yeah.
really pushing the boundaries of what Bitcoin can do in this DeFi landscape.
Yeah.
And I think if they can successfully, address these risks and continue to innovate, we might see Bitcoin DeFi really grow significantly,
Yeah.
potentially, even surpassing the ecosystems built on other blockchains
Uh,
like Ethereum or Solana.
so that would be pretty wild. I mean, to see Bitcoin kind of come from behind and
Yeah.
take the lead. So to recap, Babylon is shaking things up by enabling this trustless Bitcoin staking.
Yeah.
It's addressing, I think, a fundamental challenge in DeFi
Mm-hmm.
and potentially paving the way for, a new era of Bitcoin-powered decentralized finance.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, the risks are still there.
They're always there.
It's definitely a space worth watching closely.
Sure.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see kind of how all of this evolves over the next few months and years.
Absolutely.
So for our listeners out there, what do you think? Could this be the start of something really groundbreaking? Will Bitcoin, the OG cryptocurrency, become the king of DeFi? I don't know. It's a question worth thinking about, as we witness this very exciting evolution, happen in the world of finance right now.
For sure.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for our deep dive today.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.